1, and again they are having capacity of 8 bits. So similar or identical functions are available with timer 0 as well as timer 1. So if we are knowing the function of T0, it will be applicable for T1 or vice versa. So no need to identify or analyze the separate functions of n timers, as both the timers having same functions where they are included in 8051 microcontroller. And I have mentioned that in bold, that is precise time delay generation. As we are thinking about that, if we are considering the 12 megahertz crystal frequency, the one machine cycle period is of 1 microsecond, and from that we are able to generate a delay of 1 microsecond or 2 microsecond or less than that. Okay, so as per the switching capacity of your devices, I am talking one sentence, listen carefully. The switching capacity of an device which is connected to the microcontroller, we are generating some delays. That is, if we are connecting a device which is changes their state, or it will take to change the state required, suppose 10 millisecond time required to change the state on to off or open to close, close to open, like relays. Okay, and it requires 10 milliseconds, and if you are triggering that relay less than 10 millisecond, that is 1 millisecond or 500 microsecond, that is 0.5 millisecond, in that case you didn't identify the switching between the on and off or open and close. So for that purpose, it is also necessary that not only controller but connecting components are also capable to achieve or fetch that particular signals from changing the state. So this is not the matter here, as we are thinking general for generation of delay, and if we are considering that delay generation for the 500 microsecond, 100 microsecond, theoretically it is also possible, or 1 microsecond also, simply we write the program for 1 microsecond. But when we are dealing with the practical components, that is interfacing of the components, in that case we are able to identify the difference between the limitations, features, accuracies, precisions, whatever the tolerances are there. So based on that, as we have seen that the video shooting captured, we are not able to identify the different frames, as we are looking continuously, but they are not in continuous manner due to our eye limitation, persistent limitation. So this case is applicable for all electronic applications, as some of the devices required more time to operate, that is make on to off or off to on, and some of the devices works faster. So in that case, some digital circuits works better as compared to the analog circuits. So analog circuits required some initial triggering or some duration like dead zone and drift. N number of parameters are there. So these are the two timers, timer 0 and timer 1, and both are having the sub registers TL and TH, and nominations are same. That is TL0, TH0 for timer 0, TL1 and TH1 for timer 1. So see, as we are discussing about the timers oblique counters, so working of the timer as well as counter. So 8051 supports for both modes, timers as well as counter mode. And in case of counter mode, we are dealing with the external clock pulses. So when we are applying external clock pulses to the microcontroller's pin, in that case simply we use the pulses or clock rate generated by the external clock source, and according to that we are calculating the events. But if we are generating the time events which are applied or generated from the crystal oscillator at the XTL1, XTL2, in that case we consider that the internal pulses, internal clock source or internal pulses is nothing but your pulses or oscillations generated by crystal oscillators. So simply function of timer is based on the crystal oscillators pulses, and function of a counter is based on or depends on the external clock source applied to the microcontroller. So in most of the cases we are dealing with timers, that is we are using internal clock source as they didn't require any kind of synchronization circuits. And if we are using the external clock source, in that case we need to synchronize the external pulses with the internal pulses so that your operation is moving smoothly and without having any malfunctioning. Okay, so if we are talking about the timer here, either timer or counter uses two SFRs from the 8051 SFR section. SFR means special function register, and first one is that TMOD, timer mode register. In that, which timer is selected is identified. After that, that is after selection of timer 0 or timer 1, we have to select the timer operating mode. Here in the diagram of TMOD it is mentioned that M0 and M1, or some cases it is mentioned as, yes, hello, नाही नाही TMOD ची डायग्राम नाही, फक्त टेबल दिसतोय खाली एक T0 टायमर. ओके, तेवढंच दिसतंय का?